Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning into it. Great to be with you on a Lawn Maintenance Tuesday. Hoping this finds you well. Appreciate you tuning in. We do. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. If you miss anything, go back, get caught up. We make it really easy. All 3 hours, whether it's this show or Seminole Headlines, whatever it might be, Front Row Knowles, you name it. We post all these bad boys to iTunes, also to our own audio vault on the webpage. And we appreciate you downloading them and making time for us and listening to the program. Make sure you share and rate, review, all that good stuff. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. The WTSM app is good for your mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers.
You just reached out and touched the people.
Like, what's up, people? There you go, guys. Well, I'm sore today. Fine folks at Orange Theory Fitness whooped my ass today. I am tired, Tom, but I'm better for it. All right, so, I am so tired of this. We have to do it every damn time we talk about an NFL football game, really football game, period. The endless reviews, the terrible calls, the stoppages of play. I'm much more, I'd prefer to watch playoff baseball over Monday Night Football, but I did watch the Monday Night Football game because I thought this would be a great game. I kind of figured it would be a great game. Tom nailed it on the head. He gave you some advice yesterday, and if you took it, send him an email and thank him. Detroit plus 3.5 covers. But Detroit should have won the game. Now, there's two things there with Detroit not winning the game. Part of it was their fault, and it got lost in the fact that the officials absolutely butchered this bad boy. I mean, just bent Detroit over every which way to Sunday. Unimaginable what they did to poor Detroit. Now, having said that, you're allowed to score a touchdown in the red zone. You don't have to keep kicking field goals. I mean, time and again, they had so many opportunities at the 2-yard line, the 11-yard line, the 6-yard line. Just steady out here kicking field goals. And we know what happens when you do that. It comes back to haunt you. You get beat. And credit Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. He makes throws to people you've never even heard of and finds ways. When he gets a second and third chance, that's what he's going to do to you, and it's what he did. So on the one hand, you credit Green Bay, and you point to Detroit, and you say, guys, I know you got absolutely screwed, but got to make some plays in the red zone. And this has been a lifelong problem for Detroit in the red zone.
I feel like this is 98% blame on officials and 2% circumstances of the game.
That's fine. I get it. Don't worry. I'm about to talk about the problems. But you would agree you can't have 4 red zone appearances and just kick field goals. I mean, you kind of have to score a touchdown at some point.
Situational awareness, sure.
Yeah, I mean, you got to score a touchdown at some point. But anyhow, that said, also they're up 13-0. Should have been at that point 17-24. I mean, could have won the game already.
Yeah, 13-10 at halftime. I thought it's a 2-score Green Bay win at that point. I was like, I had it right. You guys got to finish.
Yeah. No, you got to finish. Then the officials rose and did what they did.
Well, it starts with the one review on the drop pass that was originally ruled a catch fumble. And so it's a 4th and 2, and they're letting Prater out there. It's outdoor conditions, so you could get a gust of breeze here, a 50-plus yarder.
Yeah.
If he misses, Aaron Rodgers has the ball down 6 near midfield. You're going to lose that football game. But he makes the kick, and I go, wow, 2-score game. This one's over. Nope. I was wrong.
Not over. It's sad when I watch officials do this every week. I don't like talking about it. I hate having to talk about officiating. But also, I start to distrust myself, the perception, like, what am I watching? So I went and looked it up, and nope, none of us are wrong. 200, I had it wrong. It's one of these two. Either way, it's egregious, okay? I've seen 2 separate stats today, so I'm going to give you both. Either way, they're completely egregious. There are either 282 more flags, penalties called, through week 6 this time this year than last, or 286. 282 or 286. You decide.
Might be some decline penalties in there.
Yeah, there's some things in there that I read 2 different reports, but I went and looked it up. Either way, it's 280 plus more penalties called through this point of the season than last year alone. And the thing is, they've become so safety conscious now that they throw a flag on anything. I mean, anything that even looks remotely aggressive, anything that is borderline, we get a flag. And they also seem to assume an awful lot about the intentions of these hits and forget that one wears a helmet while playing football for a very valid reason. The game is violent. It is played, these days especially, at warp speed and awfully strange angles in which guys are contorting and doing everything they can to pick up a yard or make a catch or get down before they get hit. And defenders have to react lightning quick, or they get beat, or the guy's by them, or whatever it is. And so everything is happening at once, and you got a bunch of old-ass officials who've had it beat into their head time and again that anything close, you got to throw the flag. And so the game is over-officiated, partly by design. The NFL has done this. This is what they did. This is what they wrought. This in their effort and their overreaction. And I get it, because some of this is about money. Some of this is about hundreds of millions of dollars in lawsuits. And so in their reaction to those lawsuits and the need to find a safer game, they've ruined the game that we all grew up loving, playing, watching, you name it, observing in any way, completely ruined it. Everything now is a review. Everything is a delay. There's no flow to football. And really, if you're a defender, I really feel bad for you. You can't play. You can't play. You got no shot if you're a defender. There's no way you get through a game or a season these days without something being called into question in terms of the safety of a hit or a defenseless player, or you were just a little too aggressive, whatever it might be. And last night, you just had phantom calls, just made up nonsense. You know, both those hands to the face aren't hands to the face. And I'll forgive one of them. One of them is kind of like, I get it. If you're at the wrong angle, it kind of looks bad. The other one's just absolutely absurd. And the worst part about the second one is that the official, the one who throws the flag, A, throws it late after the result of the play is not in favor of Green Bay. And then B, he's staring right at the damn play. It's not like he's at a weird angle. He's right there. And he misses that call. Never mind the interference call they miss. You know, I mean, it's time and again. And I don't know at this point. I mean, we've read today that, and see, what I realized that while I'm watching this last night is that owners are going to start to take responsibility now, because think about the implications of that game. Think about what could be on the line for Detroit at the end of the year with this game having gone the wrong way, or what Green Bay will be gifted by having won this game. I mean, you're talking about home field, divisional championship. You're talking about the possibility of guys getting fired and other guys getting, I mean, you got all kinds of implications when you make these kinds of mistakes. And at some point when close games, 1-point games, thrilling games are not what's being talked about the day after, the league has to step in. Every time you have one of these games that's coming down to the wire and somebody wins 23-22, 34-31, well, you name it, and that's not the story, but rather the story is the 17 times play got stopped for a review, or a guy got kicked out of a game because he was viewed to have targeted, or the officials called 16 penalties in one half. Anytime that's the story, obviously the integrity of your sport is called into question. You've got a real problem. You're inviting conspiracy theories. Especially last night in Green Bay. I mean, it's a legendary team at a legendary venue with a legendary quarterback.
Yes, it's a franchise that's known to get some big calls in that division, across that division.
Sure.
And I'll say this, team beta in my house for me is the Vikings. So I watch these games with a little bit more, I don't know, investment is the right word.
A little,
but I get
a
to
touch
see
of fandom, yeah.
But I do get to see these teams a little bit more in depth because I watch the Minnesota play them. But even though the Vikings are the secondary team for me, I love watching Aaron Rodgers go to work.
Yeah, he's a great player.
I mean, like, if they're not playing each other, I like watching that dude do awesome things.
Yeah.
And even though he was doing awesome things.
He did do a couple awesome things last night.
The throw to,
on
what's
the
his name?
sideline, Scantling.
Well, that one was a great throw.
And then the Lazarus guy, or whoever they brought in there.
Yeah, Lazard. Lazard.
I call him Lazarus.
Well, the refs did bring that game back from the dead
thank you.
for
Well
Green
done.
Bay.
Zacchaeus! All right.
But I can't enjoy it in that moment. I'm not, because that play happens. I go, that's not right. It's not just.
No.
It's not cool, man.
How many times have you felt that sense of injustice? And it's weird to use that word while watching a football game. It's probably inappropriate even. But you do feel that thing in the pit of your stomach that you get when you see something that's completely unfair.
It's like that's not the right result. That's not even close to the right result. And, when the second flag was thrown for the illegal hands to the face, I thought, there's no way this is. There's no way. It can't be. Because it wouldn't be a better storyline. And that's my conspiracy theory is this.
Yet they want the better storyline.
They like the controversy.
Yeah, no.
The NFL loves this. They think it's a soap opera thing that gives them a chance to continue to talk about the league on a Tuesday.
Well, one of the problems, too, getting back to whether or not, they obviously missed the 2 hands to the face call, that neither were hands to the face. That player that they called it on, Flowers, has never been called for hands to the face in his career. He certainly didn't deserve to there. But, okay, so that's bad. That's bad, and guys miss calls like that. I guess you try to stomach it.
First one's on a third down. They're punting.
Oh, they're punting. No. It impacted the game. There's no doubt. But when I go back and look at a guy trying to intercept a pass, and that you're gonna call targeting there, personal foul there. That's where you say, okay, if the game's too fast for the official, because I have no doubt what he saw was the head jerk sideways from his angle. And maybe he lost because they're so focused on safety. Once again, we've gone over the top with this safety stuff. Man, the game's dangerous. I'm tired of this. I don't care. People get hurt. It's football.
People are afraid of losing hundreds of millions of dollars. They'll say and do just about anything to not lose hundreds of millions of dollars.
So,
yes.
when we've gotten so concerned about this now that every hit that sees a neck snap back or turn sideways or is violent in any way, they throw that flag. And, man, we're forgetting that is part of the game. Not targeting. But people hitting heads
whiplash
is part of football.
That happens.
Well, they sold it forever. I mean, that was their, NFL's greatest hits. I mean, that's what they did. But I get that you were trying to take out elements of that. Fine, we've all agreed on that. I'm not a heathen. I'm not a Neanderthal. I got it. I don't want guys staring at a freaking wall when they're 48 years old. I got you. But, man, the game itself is inherently violent, and it's why you wear helmets. Sometimes, inadvertently, it's going to happen. And when I'm coming to tackle you and you're trying to avoid being tackled and you've got to protect yourself and you lower your shoulder and I'm aiming for your waist, it's going to very well be that we hit helmets. Thank God we got helmets on, Tom, because then I can pick you up and you can slap me on the ass and I can slap you on the ass and I say, nice play, young man, and we do it again.
It's my favorite part of the game. My question is, can we get a Hans device for these guys? Because that's what the NFL really wants. They want the Hans device. They'll be running with this huge apparatus. They look like the guys with the halo from the neck injuries of years past.
It's just damn football, man. It's just unbelievable. I warned of this. We've been talking about this for 2 years. At some point, it's going to affect the ratings. It's going to affect your sport. The integrity of your sport gets called into question. At some point, we're done. And, it's just hubris to watch them. But they're supposedly meeting today. You saw that? Last night finally did it. It wasn't Tom Brady's tweet, although that changed the amount of holds called, specifically holds.
Yeah.
Now, from what I'm reading today, owners everywhere are like, whoa.
Listen,
this ain't good.
They're not going to succeed either this time. They might survive for a second year, maybe a third. But if I'm the XFL, I'd say none of this. Because they're doing their draft today, right? Mm-hmm. And you've seen some former Knowles, fine landing spots, all that stuff. If I'm the XFL,
There's no such thing as targeting.
This is the perfect time.
Yeah.
Today.
Here we go.
Right now.
Protect yourself, boys. It's a nasty game. We don't have targeting in our league. Let's get it on.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
And a good time.
They'll feed it to him again. Look out. Touchdown.
So when the Knowles hit the road, join us at Hangar 38 in Bannerman Crossing, the exclusive watch party headquarters for 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee's sports monster.
People trust Sellers for better tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Sellers Flooring Advisor Ryan Fitzgerald.
We understand most people don't come in with great knowledge of what they're looking for or what they need. So at Sellers, what we try to do is use our expertise to guide you through the process.
Get Sellers working for you.
We make it easy, and we have the experts on staff to get you where you need to be, and we give you the options.
On Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive. Call 656-8453. Online at sellerstile.com.
One of my favorite things about being a member at Orange Theory Fitness is the sense of community. Initially, after taking the tour and seeing the state-of-the-art equipment, I was intrigued. I became convinced even once I researched the science-backed technology track, coach-inspired workouts, all of that. But what I didn't count on was the support, the sense of camaraderie shown by the members and the coaches. You realize pretty quickly you're not alone. And when you're pushing yourself through barriers and attempting to be your personal best, you can use all the help you can get. And it's there. It's amongst the members and coaches at Orange Theory Fitness. To learn more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hardee's new Monster Roast Beef Sandwich is stacked with slow-cooked roast beef, slices of crispy applewood smoked bacon, all covered in layers of melted cheese. This tasty triple threat is kind of like an epic no-hands backflip on a wild Mustang while spearing a great white shark. How you got a wild horse out in the middle of the ocean isn't important. What's important is that the new Monster Roast Beef Combo with fries and a Dr. Pepper is only available at Hardee's.
Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's. Dr. Pepper is a registered trademark of Dr. Pepper 7-Up, Inc.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
Deciding whether or not to fix something that has worked well for a long time can be a tough choice. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, we'll help you decide on whether to repair your existing system or consider new energy-efficient options. Book your repair or service appointment online in under a minute at baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Times can be tough, but getting a late model car is easy at Champion Auto Sales. Champion Auto Sales can quickly approve you, no matter how bad your credit. Bankruptcy, repossessions, bad credit, no credit. Champion Auto Sales can have you writing today. Give them a call at 850-999-8395 or visit them on the web at championautofl.com. Their brand is quality and credit approval is guaranteed. Champion Auto Sales, 2754 West Tennessee Street across from TCC. Stop by today.
Right now, the Home Depot makes replacing your old carpet easy. With more styles and colors to choose from, there's no better time to buy. With free installation on any carpet purchase of $499 or more, all by licensed local pros. Backed for life. Today is the day for doing and saving with free carpet installation only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. For a limited time, $499 minimum purchase required. Typically $699. For license information, visit homedepot.com/license numbers. Valid through November 6, 2019.
Escúchame, y Zidane Levitation, ESPN Radio.
I saw something on the internet the other day, and I didn't know whether it was real or not because I rarely do these days, that an airline, I don't understand how this could have been possible, but that an airline was thinking about taking out the seats and making people stand during flights, which seems really, really unsafe.
What do you do for protection? Seatbelts?
I have lost, probably a year of my life sitting through those announcements that tell me that I need to stay seated with the oxygen mask and the seatbelt at the ready. I keep thinking we're going to laugh about it in 40 years, but we haven't really improved in 40 years. The seats are just small and uncomfortable, and then they take away simple things like pillows and peanuts from you because they're trying to save money in every corner.
So you've heard.
Right, back there. When I overhear it.
There isn't a back there when you fly private, Dan.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Let's get to it. My friends at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning will appreciate it. It is time for a little Who's Hot, Who's Cold.
It's time for Who's Hot?
It's so damn hot.
Who's Cold?
Looks like she's going to turn cold tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Got a front coming in.
Yeah, you got that right.
Who's hot? Who's cold? Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. Give them a call today, 850-580-4029, or check them out at baranoac.com. You're going to want to schedule an appointment or meet with the team of experts at Barano. They can tell you how to save money. They can tell you what you're missing out on, too, in terms of efficiency for your unit. Hey, now. And it's all about Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. What a special gift they have.
That's a good hey now right there.
Who's hot? Who's cold? Let's give it up to anybody that plays the Atlanta Falcons defense, because bad quarterbacks, good quarterbacks, and everything in between seem to be on who's hot, who's cold in the hot category whenever they have faced Atlanta the previous week. See Kyler Murray, 27 of 37, 340 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. The Falcons amassed 0 sacks in that game and got no pressure on Kyler Murray. And it was like 7-on-7 because the Atlanta defense is a train wreck, and that's a toughie when your head coach is a defensive specialist. He'll be fired soon. Kirk Cousins lit up that Philadelphia secondary, which is crap. 22 of 29, 333 yards, 4 touchdowns for the average quarterback who led Minnesota to 38 points. Sam Darnold, hey now. Dallas Cowboys defense, once thought to be formidable, gives up 23 of 32 for 338 yards and 2 touchdowns, and his first game back from mono will get it done.
One of those being the longest play from scrimmage this NFL season, a 92-yard touchdown, a shot played down the middle of the field, and he had 2 wide-open options on that play, did Mr. Darnold.
That'll hurt your feelings. Oddity from the Dallas game, as a side note, read this morning that Dallas became the first team, I think, since 1991, Tom, to have outgained the Jets in like 18 of these important categories and lose the game. Like, they picked up 10 third-down conversions. They outgained the Jets by like 2-1. They did everything better than the Jets, but they lost the football game, and it's a crazy stat. Anyhow, cold. Well, Jared Goff, who's 13 of 24, and thanks for the 78 yards passing. Jesus, 78
on 24 attempts.
Yeah, that'll hurt your feelings. QBR of 3 for Jared Goff in that matchup. He has been slowly but surely fading and fading fast. Alas, unless he's facing the Bucs secondary. Marcus Mariota, who's going to lose his job and hasn't been good in years, is now officially just terrible. 7 of 18, 63 yards, 2 picks, 2 sacks, and was benched in favor of Ryan Tannehill. Tennessee now is having to figure out what you do here. Do you start Tannehill the rest of the season? Because they want to win. They've got a defense to win. They can run the ball, and then you move on.
They already signaled they're not happy with Mariota by going and getting Tannehill from the Dolphins in the offseason. It was a head-scratching move.
And then benching him in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it. Sadly, the dance can't be complete if I don't mention Jameis Winston, our own quarterback in Tampa, who has been a roller coaster ride so far this season. My man's lighting it up and setting franchise records and throwing for a gazillion yards on the Rams on the road and winning that football game. Had 2 other really good games, and then has been a nightmare in the other ones. So I don't know what to say other than he looks absolutely shook right about now, seeing ghosts and still throwing picks. At this point, I'm going to need you to go ahead and just wear that sack, Jameis. Wear that sack. Let's just not throw it to the other team. 30 of 54, 400 yards, and those are all garbage yards for the most part. 1 touchdown, 5 picks. Was sacked 7 times. That's actually fairly commonplace these days in Tampa. Sacked on the regular. But, there's no law against you holding on to the football as you're being sacked. He fumbled twice in this game as well. Sometimes I forgive it. Sometimes I go, man, do you always have to fumble? It reminds me of Mr. Ponder when he was here, who every time he got sacked, fumbled the football.
If there was a blindside rusher, it was a fumble drill.
Yeah. I mean, every single freaking time. I remember that because I loved Christian Ponder, and I'd see him go back, and I'd go, oh, he's going to get hit, which means he's going to fumble. Damn it.
So if you're a running back and lined up to his right, and here comes the blindside rush, and you've got a protection, bail on the protection and just be ready for the ball. Just get squared up to Ponder. Here comes the ball. Where's it going to be?
Oh, my goodness gracious. Also hot, let's go with Nick Chubb. Continues to impress. 20 carries, 122 yards, averaging over 6 yards per carry. That's your guy. It's good to see Devonta Freeman finally do something. Again, it was against Arizona's defense. He hadn't done anything in years. 19 carries, 88 yards suffices as a good day at the office for him.
He also had the all-purpose totals were high.
3 catches, 30 yards.
Yeah. Receiving touchdown, wide open.
Yeah. That's true. Wide open. We waved his hand as he got out there.
Did.
Yeah, nicely done. Cold, Amari Cooper, 1 reception, 2 targets, 3 yards. Not a factor. Josh Gordon, 1 reception, 1 target, 7 yards. Taken
Injuries.
off the field.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks used to be a good player, but due to Goff's ineptitude, is now left useless on 3 receptions, 18 yards. So there you go. That's what you got right there. Cold running backs. Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler combined for 13 carries and 32 yards. That'll hurt your feelings. The Ravens defensive line held Joe Mixon to 8 carries, 10 yards, 1.2 yards per rush. And then Derrick Henry, who continues to struggle, 15 carries, 28 yards, and that is that.
You could almost classify Christian McCaffrey as cold, but he had a highlight play of the weekend in putting Vernon Hargreaves on his butt.
Yeah,
but it was...
He also told Devin White to get the hell up off
did.
him.
It was 22 carries for 31 yards.
Oh, no, we've shut him down a couple times now.
We're the best run defense in football. We are. And we've got nothing to show for it.
We are certainly one of the elite run defenses in football. I just, I'd also throw the Patriots in there. They don't give up anything ever to anybody.
I know, but we knocked Barkley out of a game. We played McCaffrey twice, Kamara. It doesn't freaking matter.
No, we do shut it down, which in theory would suggest you'd have much more success against the pass because you've set them up to be predictable in passing downs and have gained leverage. But we're not. In fact, we're terrible at that part of the game again this year.
Imagine what the defense would look like if it gave up 4 yards a carry.
Maybe you'd be better. I don't know. I mean,
because coordinators would get in their own way.
Yeah, they'd get their own way.
You're too good. You're too good.
I don't know what to do here. It's nuts. By the way, Chris Godwin deserved to be in hot. 10 receptions, 151 yards, 15.1 yards per catch, and has been great in just about every game.
You know, one thing, and this will probably be for the Scuttlebucks tomorrow, a little bit of this discussion. Mike Evans is unbelievably talented. But if you were to compare 13 versus 12 on Tampa Bay's roster and how much they care to be a football player.
Or just toughness.
It's a stark difference. Who cares to be out there and who cares to play the game?
Yeah, currently that is true. And I've never said a disparaging word about Mike Evans before, other than for a star receiver, he drops too many passes. That remains true. He does drop too many passes. My goodness gracious.
Godwin in his career had a 2 or 3 game stretch last year where he looked lost.
I was getting concerned.
Like he had personal tragedy in his life. He looked like he didn't want to be there.
No.
Other than that dude does everything he possibly can. And that's in addition to racking up 10 yards a catch or being the league's leading receiver. The touchdowns that he's produced, it's that he blocks. He gets down the field, he gives effort, and he's physical as hell.
Are we close to calling a certain tight end a bust in Tampa? Because I'm about to have that conversation too. Thanks for the 1 reception, 30 yards, my man.
The talking point down there is soft. I think he's got a low football IQ. I mean, how do you twice? The first one I'll give you. Remember that there's pressure, and it's like he's the hot receiver. He doesn't turn the.
Well, he also doesn't catch the ball when he does turn around.
The second time, you got to know at that point. All right, if they're bringing the house, I got to turn around and get my hands on the ball.
Yeah. Well, you throw from which the blitz comes. It's right there in front of you.
It's a basic concept.
He never catches it, though, either. He got hit in the hands twice on that.
Yeah, the first one's late, so that's why I'm saying he should catch it. Don't get me wrong. He should.
Catch the ball,
Winning
man.
teams, and it's the NF freaking L.
Good players catch the ball.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
But I might give you that one because you didn't realize the second time. Okay, it's the same mistake. You are unbelievably gifted. What the hell, dude?
Catch the ball. But also, I mean, I don't know. When I watch a game and I see the mismatch that you are for either linebackers or safeties, how do I come away from the box score every day going, yeah, my man had 1 catch? I mean, he's had games this year where he's had 0 or 1 catch multiple times. Good players don't do that.
You got Evans drops. You got O.J. Howard drops. You got Jameis going AWOL.
Yeah, we got a team nightmare going on.
You got protection problems. You got Bobo Wilson's fumble. I mean, think about how many
cut.
He should have been.
He should have never been on the team
last year either. No. Like, how does that dude miss minicamp?
Well,
or not show up for his mandatory whatever.
Well, but under the previous regime, I was like, oh, that's typical. There you go.
And then they let him roll in there?
Let him roll in again.
He's not Antonio Brown.
No,
and even then.
He can't play. He can't play. It's awful. Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday Collegetown deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Can you hear it? There's no better tradition in all of sports than 80,000 Noles doing the war chant. Now is your chance to be a part of that. Single game tickets are on sale now as the Noles welcome in Syracuse on October 26th for homecoming, and then Miami on November 2nd. Don't get left out of the best tradition in all of sports.
Get your tickets by calling 888-FSU-NOLE to see Florida State football take on Syracuse and Miami.
Or visit Seminoles.com today.
Welcome to Office Depot. Can I help you?
Absolutely. I've got to get my school shopping done today.
All right. Right now we've got mechanical pencils and Crayola markers for $1 plus 25-cent notebooks. What's on your list?
What's on my list? I need pencils, 6 notebooks, a backpack.
If you've got a list, we've got the supplies. Come in today to get select back-to-school supplies for $2 or less, including a 24-pack of Crystal Geyser Spring Water. Shop online on our app or in-store for low prices all summer long. At Office Depot Office Max. Water limit 2. Other limits apply. See store for details.
Hey, Jeff, what's going on, man?
Hello, Eddie. How the heck are you, buddy?
I'm okay. I guess we got to do this commercial.
Time for the bantering to begin.
Yeah, but you know what, Jeff? I want something different now.
You don't want to banter anymore.
I enjoy the banter. I do. But I want theme music, Jeff. Gordo's needs theme music.
Gordo's, the restaurant, the delicious food and the people and the atmosphere. Gordo's, not you personally, but Gordo's.
Yes, I like Gordo's, not me. I mean, of course, I would love to have people following me around playing music all the time.
Especially at Gordo's.
It's always in my head. But I need something for Gordo's. I need to have something special, something that, heck, the King of the Hill has his own theme music. The Kids in the Hall. Why not me? Why not Gordo's?
Why not Gordo's? All right, I guess I'm going to be looking for some theme music.
You mean you're going to have Tom looking for some theme music?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yep, get on it, Tommy. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
At Sport Clips Haircuts, we're on a mission to help our veterans with their education. In 2013, we established the VFW Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program. With the help of your generous donations, we've raised over $6 million and awarded more than 1,400 scholarships across the country. Visit Sport Clips today and help a hero. And on Veterans Day, November 11th, Sport Clips will donate an additional $1 for every haircut we give. Help us continue this honorable mission.
People trust Sellers for better tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Sellers Flooring Advisor Ryan Fitzgerald.
We understand most people don't come in with great knowledge of what they're looking for or what they need. So at Sellers, what we try to do is use our expertise to guide you through the process.
Get Sellers working for you.
We make it easy, and we have the experts on staff to get you where you need to be, and we give you the options.
On Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive. Call 656-8453. Online at sellerstile.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, Yankees outfielder Giancarlo Stanton not in the starting lineup for Game 3 of the American League Championship Series today against the Astros because of strained quads. Aaron Hicks starts in Stanton's place. Stanton will be available to pinch hit off the bench. First pitch, 4:08 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Luis Severino Garrett Cole. In the second game of our Tuesday MLB postseason doubleheader, Nationals welcome the Cardinals Game 4 of the National League Championship Series. Pitching, of course, one reason Washington's up 3-0, but the Nats hitters have been crucial as well, points out ESPN's Buster Olney.
You know, when we talk about the Nationals, the conversation always starts, and rightly so, with the rotation. But I've thought all year a really underrated part of the Nationals team, that lineup is really good. In this series, Juan Soto really has not been that great. Some of the key parts of this lineup have not been that great, but there is depth to this group of hitters.
Buster on the Baseball Tonight podcast. Game 4 coverage, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. The Nationals 1 win away from a trip to the World Series.
Coming up Wednesday, the battle in the Bronx continues, and Washington is trying to become the capital of the National League. Plus, I'll give you my top 3-ish teams in the NFL and examine some franchises that are going through a midweek crisis. Golic and Wingo Wednesday, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN 2.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Coming up, Seminole Headlines. Looking forward to rolling that out there for you. I mean, that's seriously, it's a good show, but there is an awful lot of talk of that game again. That game.
Really?
Yeah, one that just happened.
I was wondering which way you guys were going to go. Talk about it a bunch or talk about it a little bit and move on?
Yeah, I don't know that we broke down the game as much as we did, like, what it means, what it means for Florida State moving forward, and, you know, what they have to do now and how far the gap is, and then what it does to the fan base. And, you know, I think we know what it does to the fan base. You and I have certainly talked about that. I mean, it's hard to stomach, you know, like, even if you're accepting the reality. Like, let's say you're a realist and you get it, and you're not living in this dreamland and telling everybody about how we're going to go on the road and compete in that game, or that the upset's about to happen. And, you know, even if you knew, even if you were part of that group that's like, what? No, that's not going to happen. It still doesn't make it easy. You know, I mean, you and I mean, look, we hate this. We hate watching this team be that bad against anybody with an upper echelon ranking. You know, I hate that against teams that were, I guess you considered to be, quote-unquote, classified as good. You know, Notre Dame last year, Florida last year, Clemson last year. Anybody that was any good. I hate that you're not competitive. It's not just that you lose those games. That would be hard enough, right? That'd be hard enough. Like, if you're a Texas A&M fan, it's hard enough that you're losing games and you're not scoring points, and you hired an offensive, quote-unquote, genius. You know, you hired an offensive genius. They can't score. They hold teams pretty well. They held that Clemson team to 24 or whatever they did, but they can't score. So you're like, well, this is the guy we brought in to score. We can't score at all. We're getting everything we can out of Elko over here on defense, but we don't score. What is it you say you do here? You know, you start getting angry, right? But they're competitive. They're in those games. They can see that, all right, they're right there. They're pretty close. But it's still got to be hard to stomach. They don't like it. Fool around and lose to one of the Mississippi schools, and they're going to go 6-6. That's not what they paid for, even with the schedule being as difficult as it is. But for us, what's worse is that we're not competitive against teams that are any good. We're not competitive. Like, we can't compete against good football programs. So you have to get, for lack of a better term, fat on a terrible ACC. You know, that Virginia team that we collapsed against in the fourth quarter, I don't think they're very good. And you just saw them lose to Miami. They're not very good. I don't think Louisville's very good. I don't think NC State's very good. I don't think that Boise team's very good. And I've noted the statistics for the quarterback from Boise that everybody was drooling over after one game. He hadn't done anything since. He's looked pedestrian. The way that most freshman quarterbacks look when they play a semblance of a defense that has a clue what they're doing. So wrapping your mind around that and then understanding that it ain't changing overnight is a tough ask. You know, I get the frustration. I really do.
I'm living in a world where I understand what we are, and I understand exactly what you're saying, because it's true. This is a bad ACC. It's worse than we thought it was going to be, and that's saying something, right?
Yeah.
Because when schedule came out, it laid out pretty nicely for us. But it looks worse, and it is worse than we ever could have imagined outside of Clemson, this conference being. But I have all off-season to worry about the fact that it ain't going to get better anytime soon. So for right now, the Clemson game went as bad as it possibly could, short of Dabo wanting to score more points, at which point the scoreboard might look a little bit different. But we all saw what it was by the end of the second quarter. You're like, oh, God, okay. It's just whatever they want to do, they're going to get. Feels like Urban Meyer back in the day in 2009, kneeling in his home stadium, saying goodbye to Bobby Bowden. But we do have games, and so we can at least watch games and talk about those games. Because we're going to have a long off season again, even if we make a bowl, even if we win that bowl game. It's going to be a really long off season because we know that there's about, 3 levels of the minor leagues we have to climb up before we can ever be in one of these discussions.
Yeah. No, and I just think that you're right. If you get into that realm where you can accept that, even you don't have to like it. Nobody has to like it. But where you can you're better off just accepting that's where we're truly at.
Well, I'm not happy about it, but I was miserable for the 9 months of the offseason that we had to circle and talk about the same things over and over and over again about what we aren't. Once you get past the new car smell at Clements and Bryles, and you see that in the spring game, we're a little bit more buttoned up, the reality was still there, and it hits you in the face every day like humidity here in Tallahassee from like late April through mid-October, and it just hits you over and over and over again. So while we have football, I'm going to cherish it, even if it's not the level that we hoped it would be.
I don't disagree with that. One thing that I learned to be able to do some time ago was not let a season where one of my favorite teams isn't playing well affect my joy of the sport and my viewership of it. Like, I don't, the Bucs have been bad for what feels like eons now, but I still enjoy watching football on Sundays. Now, that's changing because the league is in the process of sabotaging the product to where it's unrecognizable, in the story after every single game now is not the game. It used to be we talked about the games. Stories are never about the games anymore. They're always about the officials. And that's a shame, but that's a league doing it to itself. I mean, the sooner, just like I'm asking Florida State fans to accept and understand where we are as a program and how far we have to go. Not that we can't get there, but how far we have to go. I need the NFL and the folks at the NCAA to recognize that football is a violent game. And can we move on? Can we get to playing football again? Because this is ridiculous. I said it earlier this hour, 286 more penalties called at this point this year in the NFL than last. And it's grown each year for the last. They've put such a point of emphasis on making sure that these calls are right and making sure protection is in place for all involved. You can't protect everybody. It's football. The helmet is the protection. The helmet is the protection. It's why you have it on. The sooner they start to recognize that it's just a violent game played by badasses and those with the right temperament and those who are athletically gifted enough to do it, the better off we're going to be. We can get back to playing football again. I just wish that would happen. Just like I wish that, we could watch us and say, okay, I'm not going to compare us to Clemson because we don't belong. We don't belong in that group. Someday maybe we will when we've earned it. Right now, this group doesn't earn it. They don't belong. But we belong with Wake Forest. We can beat Wake Forest. Let's go beat Wake Forest. And I'm going to watch with gusto and enthusiasm this weekend, knowing that it's important that we beat Wake Forest, because to get to the place where we can once again compare ourselves to Clemson and others, you got to win these games. This is the stepping stone.
It's funny. I think everybody does this with their NFL team. I don't think it's just Buck and Knowles who have a lot of similarities, but that's the world we live in, that we watch Saturdays and Sundays, offensive line play for years, or third down defense, the passive nature of defense. There's been a lot of giant similarities. But I feel like with our head coach here and our quarterback down there, we're about in the same place, where it's not over yet, but this next month to 2 months,
important.
They're huge. You can't screw this up.
Well, yeah, and there is some talk about this on Headlines, by the way. You and I can get into the long-form discussion of this because it warrants it. What is reasonable? Now what you do is now we got everybody under the same umbrella. Everybody kind of understands, oh, okay, we're not close. Nope, we weren't close. And now that you understand that, come on in here. Let's talk about the path to getting close. Winning these games against Wake, Syracuse, who's terrible, Miami, who doesn't have a quarterback, Boston College has now lost their quarterback for the year and has no defense. Alabama State, which is an automatic win. Vital to taking a step forward to getting to where we want to go because it does create momentum for the offseason. Now, you're going to lose to Florida. That's not a good look, but okay. You get to 8 wins. You get to 7 wins. You can't sell 6 wins to me. You can't sell 6 wins to me. 6 wins means you either were the same as you were a year ago or worse because this schedule's a joke. Yeah. So you can't sell 6 wins to me. You better win 7 bare minimum, and I'll get you that maybe we took a step forward. 8, okay, 8. Now 8. All right, we're getting better.
Yeah, you've gone from the dregs of the conference to just one of the group of the slappies, as you called them yesterday.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So 8. Get me to 8. I would, and 8's on the table as we sit here today. Now, if you lose to Wake, it's off the table. And then you've lowered your sights to the bare minimum, which is the 7-win season. And you put unimaginable pressure on yourself to rattle off 1, 2, 3, 4 straight wins at that point. One of them is an automatic win. So really 3 straight wins in 50-50 games. You know, now 2 of those 50-50 games would be at home. But you would have to, So it's a big game Saturday because you get this one, okay, you can start to, again, feel better about yourself. At that point, you will have beaten NC State and Louisville and Wake Forest. These are the middling bunch that we're a part of now. And you would say, okay, you're beating people you should beat. You know, they really should have never lost the Virginia game. I'm still mad about that. I mean, they outplayed Virginia. They're better than Virginia. I don't think the Virginia team's any good.
The Boise game.
Well,
shouldn't have lost that one.
But the reason you do lose some of those games is the defensive coordinator who ought to be fired. And he's the first person and the only person to this point that I've called out to be fired. And I'm sticking by it 100%. He's not getting any better. Harlan Barnett needs to be fired the second the clock strikes 0 after that Florida game. You fire his ass, and we move on because he has failed across the board miserably. And, you know, if you can hire Levitt, good. I would do that. I don't know if he still wants to be here.
Yes, because it's an upgraded linebackers coach, which you'd give that guy a ceremonial role.
It's an upgrade, period. He's just, Levitt would be a guy. He's a guy. Get him in here. He's one of the guys that would help turn this around. But we're not, you know, I can't listen to another press conference where my head coach tells me there were communication issues and misalignment on defense. How long are we going to do this? He just said it again on Monday. Why? Why are there still misalignments and communication issues? How long does that take?
If I had the answer, I'd charge $1.2 million a season.
Yeah, I can't do that. So, you know, it's tough, but you can move. I think your attitude's the right one, though. It's like, okay, we'll beat it up for a while here on, you know, Monday morning, Monday afternoons, Tuesday. But tomorrow, it's on to Wake Forest, Tom.
Well, yes.
On to Wake Forest.
I had that attitude going into the game, even though I woke up on Saturday saying, all right, the path to it being close in the second half is the defense rising up and covering better. And then I see that first drive. I go, okay, we're not going to cover.
Not going to cover.
So we're not going to win this game. We would never work, excuse me. We're not going to even win my expectation game, which was let's make it interesting for a little while.
Yeah, but your expectation and disappointment that follows is different from mine. That's one thing we haven't talked about. I hate that the one area that I thought we could make hay absolutely got blown off the ball. This defensive line we all love didn't do a damn thing. They got blown up. They got pushed off the ball. Clemson's offensive line moved them all around. Durden, Cooper, Wilson, get the hell off me. I'm running wherever I want. That's disappointing.
I thought they went away from Marvin a little, obviously, which is what you should do. But, yeah, I mean.
They didn't win their fair share of battles.
They didn't.
No. Now.
That's tough. That's a toughie.
That's the one that's tough for me to stomach.
I think also, like, the way we react to things, too. When I'm done, I'm not a screamer, like, saying, get his ass. I'm like, okay, you're gone. I'm cold about it. Third quarter last week, I'm watching the way we're covering and the mistakes we're making with
like we're done.
Well, especially when you tell me as a coordinator that it's fixed. Bruce Arians said, I'm never going to believe that defensive back play is fixed again because in Tampa, the coach in the preseason said, oh, it's totally fixed. That's exactly how he said, oh, it's totally fixed, our problem in the secondary. Okay. So then that's what I see on Sundays. All right?
Earlier in the year it was more fixed, but...
Well, I think people woke up and said, oh, you can get him in man, can't you? And I think also the pass rush masked a lot of the deficiencies.
Sure.
I mean, think about the throws that Cam misses. Some just because he sucked in week 2 and some because the pass rush was affecting his internal clock.
Yeah.
And yet these guys were wide open. Well, Harlan was saying that we find the ball now. We turn our head around. I watch those Thursday availabilities.
We don't.
So in the second half, it's not like he's gone and, it's, it's Shooter McGavin. 5-iron, huh? Well, you're fired.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not really screaming.
No, not now. I'm saying after week 1 of Boise, like the vitriol. For me, I almost internalize it all, and it becomes just a quiet. That. Okay, well, we're on Cincinnati. That's what we're doing.
We're on to Cincinnati. Houston and New York. Yes, please. Better enjoy this one. I think tomorrow gets washed out based on what I'm reading with the weather, and that will affect the series, by the way, because it kind of...
Extra day of rest for the old starters.
Yeah, it changes things, but Garrett Cole is really good. We'll see if Severino will be. He's looked good in his return. You get marquee matchup here, and it's hard to argue really against this just being a fantastic baseball game tonight. First 5 under? I mean, if you got to make... I'm not touching the game because that ballpark changes everything.
Yes, it does.
So, I don't bet games in Yankee Stadium because it's a farce. It's an embarrassment to baseball. But, if you made me do it, because my boys, Jerry's Cigars, they want a pick from Big Daddy.
Hey, Big Daddy, having some Red Russians tonight?
We'll know in about 47 seconds.
Into an open wing. It's picked up by Dowdy, an empty net. He scores.
Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. Red Russians all around, Teddy.
All right, Big Daddy.
Last time we did it, I said first inning tie. Go with it, nothing. It happened, and then the Nationals exploded and told the Cardinals to go back in their hole. But they don't deserve to be in the round that they're in because they don't. But now I would tell you that I'm kind of, you get plus money if you say no after one today. I don't think the Yankees. You got a hunch? You want to throw one out here?
I'm looking at the frozen surface.
What do we got at the NHL? Talk to me, baby.
It's me versus Director Matthew here, and not heads up. Just I don't watch enough hockey right now in order to have an inkling, but I do follow the Lightning quite closely. So for my pick, Tampa Bay, the total line is 6.5, over under 6.5. I'm going to go over tonight in Montreal. I do think the Lightning offense comes to play once again. Maybe 5 goals. It should get the job done to hit your total.
All right.
And then Matthew's pick, history says I believe it's 14 out of 18, Winnipeg over Arizona head-to-head. So in a way, this is like the Ravens and the Browns because they both used to be the Winnipeg Jets.
Over Arizona, okay.
So on the money line, Director Matthew says you take Winnipeg tonight over the Coyotes.
Is Los Angeles playing tonight? Did you say that? Yes, they are. Okay, I'm going to take the over 6.5 with the Hurricanes and Kings tonight at 10:30.
Okay.
There's Big Daddy's pick. Hurricanes, Kings, over 6.5. It's important to check to see who's in the net tonight for Los Angeles.
Yes, if it's Jonathan Quick, you're in business.
If it's Quick, take the over. If it's not, run for the hills.
That's your pick. And if you want to pick up a
Cigars.
2810 Share Road, 2910 Carry Forest Parkway, online at jerrycigarshop.com.
Seminole headlines up next. Stay tuned. Good stuff. Good work out of you, Tom. Good work out of you as well, Matthew. And be well. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Here comes headlines. Boom.